You know, I have to admit I'm proud of her. She, for pretty much this entire show's run, has had a stick up her ass, and that's putting it nicely. To be fair, she was gaslit into believing that she was working for a nice place, but we've all collectively over the weeks realized that no, this receptionist job is not good. The boss in question is a cheapskate, and despite maybe having a good heart, he's a great representation of why maybe you don't put someone who's not suited to be a boss in a boss-like position. Warriors don't typically make great kings outside of wars, you need a diplomat, etc, etc. And to be fair, I've always thought to myself, Jade deserves better. If he would have go for the other receptionist, yeah, he might have to dress up as the executioner during playtime, but at the end of the day, at least she would probably treat him right. This girl has given him many mixed signals, and despite the very first scene where she did try to whack him with a hammer, every scene past that, she's always kind of played hard to get. She never completely shot him down. She's half the time blushing because she likes it, but baka, physical affection and physical intimacy, how dare we? This episode, she actually let herself have a little fun. And she even had a major turning point in her character development. After the whole party gets crashed and she's able to continue to enjoy it because they say the show must go on, she doesn't let Jade and company go off to fight dark gods by themselves because she knows that, they need her help. And keeping them alive is more important than having fun times at the event. And to be honest, I think she realizes that holding his hand, which she did initiate, mind you, I really appreciate the fact that she actually probably enjoys hanging out with Jade more than just by herself. So, she had a pretty good characterization moment this episode. I still think Jade deserves better, and it's kind of refreshing because once in a blue moon, like finding a needle in a haystack, you can say the dude deserves better than what he's going after, because it's almost always the girl going after the shitty lead male who's just like, why are you going after him? But either way, I'm proud of her. I said at the start of this season, she is best girl this season. She is. I stand by that week after week. She's just simultaneously worst girl all at one. It kind of reminds me of Aqua from Konosuba, and I absolutely adore that. Of course, if you want to see my full thoughts on these amazing episodes, we do got the Patreon if you want to support my work. Full and cut thoughts over there exclusively. So, very good episode. To be honest, I thought she was going to get cock-blocked a lot sooner. As soon as she's like, I get to enjoy this, I'm like, do you though? No, honestly, to be fair, she enjoyed it a decent amount. There's so many moments though, like, I have to imagine, there's this one scene, Jade is sitting on the ground. Stone ground. She has the bench all to herself, shoveling back food. I have to imagine he tried to sit down on that bench and she kicked him off, because that's the type of person she is. But I appreciate that rather than just continuing she doesn't completely kick him away, but just keeps beating his ass, and he says, I'm a good dog, so I say, yes, sir. I appreciate that she actually initiated and kind of confirmed that anyone who thinks like she has no interest in Jade is literally just projecting their own feelings towards her onto her. Like, because at the end of the day, a blind man can see that she is just not good with physical affection, and her natural response is, I'm gonna whack things with hammer when I get overstimulated. Because this episode crystal clear says that, yeah, absolutely, she's into him. For whatever reason, he's into her. I don't get it. I never will. I think he deserves better. But despite my own feelings towards this ship, I've always liked the ship. It's a very weird situation and dilemma where, like, I think our boy deserves better, but as they show them bond more, I appreciate it. I mean, I also appreciate the fact that she even admitted that she'd only be here because of his help with the overtime paperwork. Without his help, she wouldn't be here. I appreciate that. We've had so much abuse with these two. I appreciate that because, and it really kind of goes to show too, that I think if you remove her from this job, she probably would be a very pleasant person to be around. And I think this is what's really interesting, because she's probably the most pleasant version of herself we've seen in the show today, at least for such a prolonged period of time. And it's because she's not doing a stressful job anymore. She's letting her hair down, having a little fun, and she doesn't have stick up her ass. But as soon as she goes back to work the next day, she probably will be a bitch again, because the job is that stressful. The man said how many episodes ago he was gonna get more receptionists. Do you see more receptionists yet? The man will set up meetings in front of her as she's doing piles of paperwork and can see that is far more work than she's capable of. We all know damn well she ain't getting paid overtime. There's leaks in the roof. This is not the type of person who should be running a guild. And that amount of stress being put on the head guild receptionist would probably turn anyone into a cranky biatch. And I do think there's a justifiable reason for why she's like that, because of all the stress. But it's clear Jade is doing his best to make her life a lot more easy. And the fact that an episode where you're properly removed from that stress got to see her be probably the most genuine version of herself, it is crystal clear that bitch needs to quit. Go be an adventurer. And we're getting closer to that, I think, because the fact that, you know, her PTSD of not wanting to see people turn up dead, like, that's what pushed her away because of her flashback, right? So the fact that she's actually going gung-ho into this situation where we're dealing with these twins who, despite flattening them with a hammer, can get back up because they're made of slime or regenerating slime, I don't know. But no idea how they're going to defeat those, to be fair, but either way, some really good characterization. And hell, that's not even the main real point of the episode, but probably my favorite point. The Lulu stuff, the fact that she's still, like, the fact that that's still eating away at her, she goes and meets up with this guy, wasn't expecting his characterization, because while he's kind of wallowing in self-pity, you're the murderer, blah, 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 there's a point in the episode prior, just before him getting released, actually, I'm the murderer. And then he gets released. And then this glasses bastard kills one of them with some blood magic to feed the souls away. And I think it's clear that he's gonna sacrifice himself for them, most likely for Lulu herself, because I think he's realizing and he's having this change of heart. But I don't think he's the type of character who would survive this situation, and I think is going to sacrifice himself for the greater good. It is clear to me that he's not comfortable with what was being built up even prior to the Dark Gods being summoned, and I think that'd be very interesting, but either way, I think we're getting into a situation that probably we're only going to be able to save one. Former party member and probably current party member are both going to be gravely injured, and she'll have to pick one. And I think the way we'll get around that isn't just because, well, screw that guy, but because he'll say, let me go and save him. I think that's kind of what we're building into, but I could be mistaken, but either way, some great characterization. I'd personally argue this was probably the best written episode, because it really allows for all the anger and the bullshit to really just be like, damn, like, this is, it lets everyone have a bit of fun before shit hits the fan, and I think in terms of characterization, it was hands down the best. Of course, those are my feelings. Let me know your thoughts down below. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course, ring that bell, and like I mentioned, we got those full live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll just give you a video shout out. So today we got Jamabu, Anne, Tade Goldweight, One Piece Man, Nicholas Wilhelm, Francis Mondra, Neko Chibi, Jacob Darkfire, Min Young, and we also have Murano Santatigo. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and you all have a good one.